Hey guys, Todd from Great Escape Farms here, doing something that some folks may not consider homesteading, but keeping your tools working and operating properly on a homestead is part of homesteading. So I have a trailer here that I'm having some electrical issues with, some wiring problems, which happens very often with trailers here. So I figured I'd go ahead and show you what I'm doing here and show you how I'm troubleshooting it. So first thing, let's see, I have a cable right here that's very tight, always has been. And what I did is I bought an extension cable to connect up from under the chassis to this cable, and then I used a bungee cord just to tie up the slack. My initial one that I bought when I got this trailer from the manufacturer was on there for years, worked great. However, trailer was disconnected, it was laying on the ground, the cable was, and I hit it with a snow blower during a snowstorm. So I went out and I bought a cheap one from, what the heck are they called, Harbor Freight, for $5, and like anything else, you get what you pay for. So it lasted about 6 months, and if you notice, all of the teeth right here, the electrical components are gone. So that was my first issue. So I troubleshot that earlier. What it should look like, oops, would be this end right here. I should have the wires in it, and this has the rubber around it. So I went out and I bought this one from a local place, spent a little bit more for it. This was all they had, but the issue with this one is that I have the white wire here that has to be connected up. That would be fine if that was the trailer end, but it's not. It's the vehicle end, and when the trailer is not hooked up, I don't want to have to go at this with a screwdriver or anything just to carry it along. So I'm eventually going to need another cable here just to get it home. I may be able to jury rig that one and just connect the wire up to something, but for right now I just have it connected up directly. You can see how tight it is. The issue there is when I make a right-hand turn, let's see, not right, when I make a left-hand turn, this cable is going to get very taut and possibly rip out of the socket. At the best case, or worst case, it could rip the wires out, which would just be horrible, because then I'd have all kinds of issues. So the issue I'm troubleshooting right now is, and unfortunately the sun is out shining. Let me see if I can block a little bit of the sun here, but don't know if you can see, that light is on, and this light, I have the outer light on, but this one is not. And in troubleshooting, let me come up here. Right now I have the park lights on to make that light come on. Let me just hit the hazards here. Okay, hazards are on. And what you can see is I'm on here, but this light right here on the side, and I don't know if it's showing up in the video, but it's dimming every time that light comes on. And over here on this side, well, actually it is a little bit. So it looks to me like it's probably a short. It is likely not a light bulb going out. So what I'm going to end up doing is taking these 4 screws out, taking a look at it. It's very flimsy the way they put these things together. So I will go ahead and get it set up, put this on a tripod so you can see what's going on, and show you how to repair this particular issue or issues on the NNT trailer. So let me set the tripod up and go ahead and get this unscrewed, and I'll show you what's going on. Okay, to get the lens off here, there's 4 Phillips screws here. You just go ahead and take all 4 of them out. Be careful not to drop them on the ground, especially when you're in brush like I am right here. So let me go ahead and get these 4 out. And the lens just pops right off. And I'm going to actually put the screws right into the lens here so I don't lose them, and lay that off to the side here. The light bulb pushes in and twists counterclockwise, and it's a little bit hairy to get out here, but this is the light bulb here. And as I age, I need glasses when I'm looking at stuff up close. Let me just take a quick look. There's 2 strings in here, and you're looking at those, and both of those look good. So strings, they're called filaments. They're actually wires going across, and they both look good. There's no holes in them. They're not burnt out. It usually is kind of obvious when they are. Sometimes they can just come loose and sit there, but the light bulb is likely good. In every case I've had issues with this before, it has been. So I'm going to set the light bulb aside. So the issue that I generally have in here is I have two metal slats going up here. One is for park lights, one is for the turn signal. So it almost looked like they were shorted together, but as I look at this, they're probably not. But the bigger issue I have, and usually what's going wrong with this, is the little slats get pushed back, so they have to make contact with the light bulb, and it's a bar up like this, and it kind of bends back over time. And the light bulb has a socket that comes out, and if you get too much bend back, it just doesn't make contact. It has to make contact. So what I usually do is I pull these slats out, which is in itself a little bit of a task, and then I bend them straight again so that it will make contact with the light. So let's see if I can do this easily. And what I have here is a pair of needle nose pliers. So I'll pull that one out. And let's see, we are screwed in at the bottom here. So I'm hoping the screwdriver will work. And it will for these purposes. In a little while I'll go and I'll grab a better screwdriver. This is like a number 1 Phillips. And this is a number 2 tool and a number 1 screw there. Okay, so I have that out. So as you, hopefully you can see that. See how it's bent out right there. So what I need to do is straighten it back up here. Also, I get corrosion on the front here, so you can just take something sharp like a screwdriver or whatever, kind of scratch away some of the corrosion so it makes better contact. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one back in. I'm going to take the other one out and clean it up. One word of caution while you're doing this, make sure that you're either totally disconnected or the vehicle wiring that you're connected to is totally off. If you short this out to anything here, you're going to end up blowing a fuse and maybe even causing a couple arcs and scaring the heck out of yourself. 12 volts is generally not enough to hurt you when you're dealing with lights, but it can definitely blow a fuse. So make sure that everything is disconnected. So I'm going to go ahead and put this together and repair the other one over here, put this together, and I will come back to you in 1 minute. One other word of caution is, you notice there's 2 of these here. Do one at a time just so you don't get them mixed up, because if you get them backwards, then when you have directionals on, it'll just make things ugly. So make sure you don't mix them up. So I'm going to do one at a time. Let me grab the proper tools here, put it back together, and I'll show you what we got going on here. So one of the things I love about doing these videos is that I'm always learning something new. Even when I think I have it together, I'm always learning something new. So I've done this many times before, and there's something that either I didn't realize or I just hadn't noticed before. So I pulled the other one out. You saw that in the last video, and I went ahead and I cleaned it up and I straightened it up. This one I pulled off and I straightened up, and then I was thinking, hey, there's no wire to this one, and this one over here you can see is soldered there. So then I realized right at the tip of my finger there, and hopefully you can see it. If you'll notice, there's something moving right on top of it. I have my finger on the back side of it. The wire is actually poked through on a little post there. And what happens is this end of the slat, as I was calling it earlier, kind of leans up against the post like it shows on that one right there. And I need to do the same on this one. So that's another area where we can have corrosion and need to clean things up and make sure that we have good contact. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this one up real good and go ahead and give this a try again. I just wanted to point this out while I had it apart here. So I went ahead and continued the repair, went ahead and put the light bulb back in and put the lens cover on. I actually checked it in between, make sure that it works. So what we're looking for is a light that blinks here on both sides, and we're looking for this light to stay steady on and this light to stay steady on. So the way I run this test, and I do it every single time that I hook the trailer up before I go, is I turn the park lights on and I turn the hazard lights on. That way everything blinks. If everything is on with the park lights on and with the hazard lights on where it's blinking like this, then I know the brakes will work, so I don't need somebody actually punching on the brakes. So that's it for the electrical piece. So one other thing I did want to point out that you're supposed to do at least once a year, and I've been a little lax in doing myself, is putting a little grease on wheel bearings themselves. So let me move the tripod over here, and yeah, you can see that. So on the NNT, there's a little rubber cap right here, and it just kind of pulls right off. So set that aside, and there's a little nipple in there for a grease gun. So you go ahead and you hook the grease gun up and you give it a couple shots of grease. So you're supposed to do that at least once a year. One other thing I just noticed is I'm missing a cap on my air stem there, my valve stem. So I should put a cap on and check air pressure and stuff like that. So just a couple things you should do good before a trip. Once you fill the grease, the wheel bearings up with grease, put this back on. Make sure it sits in there nice and solid, that it gets a good seating on it. So that's good all the way around. So I'll go ahead and take care of the rest of this here. So thank you very much for tuning in. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and also going to greatescapefarms.com and subscribing to our email list. We post sales on our plants that we have at the Great Escape Nursery, and we also let you know when we do blog post updates as well as video updates. Also, if you'd like to support our show, please go to greatescapefarms.com and click on the Amazon link. It'll take you to Amazon, and then you just shop as normal, and we get a small percentage of the money that you spend there. It doesn't cost you any more. It comes from advertising dollars from the folks that are actually selling on Amazon. So that would be a great way to help support a small business. Thank you very much, and have a great day.